business is coming to town. Ahead, we go over what will be East Long Meadow's 5th gas station and how it could affect you. Another new business in town is going up fast. Details on the building progress of Bay Path College coming up. New SAT standards for college-bound students. EL superintendent spells it out. And a local 8-year-old chef is a top contender in a national peanut butter recipe contest. Those stories and a wrap-up of the Rec Basketball Championships just ahead on ELCAT News Week in Review. Good evening, I'm Yasmina Najimi.
And I'm Alexi Cohan.
We begin tonight with news of a new gas station and convenience store coming to town.
The Planning Board met on March 11th to review a special permit and site plan for the new business that will be located on the corner of Chestnut Street and Shaker Road.
While there are already 4 gas stations in town, this gas station will be the only one in the entire southern half of East Long Meadow. The 1.7-acre station lot will have 5 pumps and 10 filling stations, including a 4,500 square foot retail convenience store. During the meeting, the board explored the community's opinion about the gas station, reading letters both for and against its construction. Planning Board member Ralph Page says that, despite opposition, it's important to understand that this is an allowed usage of the property.
It's not whether we need a gas station or not. This is an allowed use in the business zone, and the applicants come forwards. I'm assuming they think it would be a great area for it, so they've applied to the town and asked the town for a special permit to put one in.
In that same interview with ELCAT, Page highlighted the station's potential of having a positive impact on the rotary. He noted that a significant amount of traffic flows through the Chestnut Shaker intersection, and having a fueling station there may reduce the number of EL-bound drivers that use the 2 gas stations located in the rotary. This would subsequently reduce rotary traffic and backup. The station, however, would essentially only relocate that traffic to the Chestnut Shaker intersection. Page elaborates on the issue, calling this traffic a large concern.
You're at a busy intersection, and you'll be adding more traffic to the area. The second thing we're looking at is the rail trail, which crosses the road right at that area. Pedestrian safety is extremely important.
The station's impact on the environment is also a concern, both to the town in general and to the residents and businesses nearby. Page says that the amount of impact from air pollution would be negligible, and potential problems with the wetlands behind the site have already been dealt with.
As far as the environment, there's wetlands behind it, which it's already been vetted through the Conservation Commission. They've submitted a plan so that the release of water into the wetlands is at the same rate that it is right now with no development.
Despite the extensive measures that the Planning Board, Department of Public Works, and Conservation Commission are all taking to handle and approve this project, residents are still concerned. The board reviewed this letter of opposition.
There is no question that the development will increase the potential for vehicle-to-vehicle and vehicle-to-pedestrian collisions in the area, and the application should be required to evaluate these impacts and propose reasonable mitigation measures.
Assistant Town Engineer Frank Moriarty wrote a memo to the Planning Board explaining the plan changes that have been made to cope with the board's and the town's concerns. Chestnut Street's sidewalk has been extended to the rail trail, which is intended to reduce the amount of vehicle-to-pedestrian collisions. Other changes include the maintenance of the existing concrete bounds and the shifting of the access-egress driveway on Chestnut Street further away from the intersection to lessen potential traffic problems. Moriarty's efforts to make the plan workable have proven somewhat successful. The board read this letter in support of the plan.
L.E. Belcher is a well-respected company that operates first-class stores in a greater Springfield area. As residents of East Long Meadow for the past 30 years, we feel the added taxes and the convenience of having a station at the intersection is long overdue.
With the town's opinions in mind, the board is currently continuing traffic impact studies on the potential gas station.
If they're approved, it still has to go through the building inspector. He has to look at all the criteria for the building, for the stations. They still have to go through the state fire marshal to get approval. I'm sure the Board of Selectmen will have licensing and all for the store. I mean, if it was up to them, they would have already started, but obviously we're still nowhere close as far as the permitting process.
So when will the verdict be out? Well, there's no way to know yet. but the meeting has been continued to March 25th for further discussion. We'll have an update on their progress in the coming weeks.
While the new gas station is still in the planning phase, construction of another new business in town is well underway. Over the last few months, no doubt you've spotted the new Bay Path College building going up on the corner of Denslow Road and Shaker Road. We talked to Bay Path representatives earlier this week and have the update. Bay Path College is currently in the process of building a satellite campus on 1 Denslow Road in East Long Meadow. The 11-acre lot will hold the new health sciences building for physician assistant and occupational therapy programs. Vice President for Finance and Administrative Services, Mike Giampetro, is optimistic about all the aspects of the new campus, especially its location in East Long Meadow.
The main campus in Long Meadow is completely built out, so we had no additional space to build a building of this size. We did an extensive search, almost 2 years in length, and we looked at properties all across western Massachusetts. We wanted a site that was in close proximity to our main campus in Long Meadow, and this was determined to be the best, most viable site for us.
The building, costing around $15.2 million, is expected to be completely finished in January of 2015.
Starting next January, we'll move 2 programs here. Our Physician Assistance Program, which is a master's degree program, and our master's degree program in occupational therapy. There'll be about 275 students that'll come here. They'll be full-time students, graduate level. So there'll be young adults and working professionals who are aspiring to work in one of those 2 fields. We will have approximately 25 faculty here on any given day and 5 to 10 staff.
Giampetro says the community of East Long Meadow will benefit from the new Bay Path campus.
We've received an incredibly welcoming reception from the time that we announced the purchase of the property until now. Graduate students will live in the area. They do not live on campus. We only house undergraduate students at this time. So they'll live in the area, they'll work in the area, they'll patronize local businesses. And so we've had just a terrific response from the local business community and the select board in East Long Meadow.
Despite a tough winter, construction plans are on schedule and most progress is expected to take place during this summer.
So we'll welcome the community into the building when it opens up, and we'd like a positive working relationship going forward.
A heads up for college-bound high schoolers, the SATs as we know them are about to change.
Scoring will go back to the old 1,600-point scale. That's down from 2,400.
The idea is to give less of an advantage to students who can afford expensive tutoring. Superintendent Gordon Smith explains.
The SATs, or standardized assessment tests, are going from a 2,400-point system and reverting back to a 1,600-point system with top scores of 800 on math and 800 on what will be called evidence-based reading and writing.
I think we're all anxious to see, okay, what will these changes look like? So they'll take effect in the spring of 2016. So we have about 2 years to learn more about the changes. But from what I can tell, in the limited reading that is out there, basically they're going to start to look at getting their reading and writing section into more of a comprehensive sort of college writing and reading aspect, if you will. So some of the things that you'll immediately see that are different are taking the vocabulary section and now bringing it into more what they're at least terming right now relevant vocabulary, and making sure students can determine the meaning of words within the context of a passage.
The essay portion of the test will reportedly be optional.
And it will be interesting to see over the next 2 years how optional it really is, because even though it's listed right now as it will be an option, remember SATs are predictors in terms of supposedly how students will do at the college level. So my guess is there will be universities and colleges that require students take that or partake in the essay portion.
The SATs have long been criticized for using obscure vocabulary words, for example. The College Board says those types of words will be replaced by those that are more common in college courses.
I think one change always creates a little bit of anxiety in people, and so that's something we always have to work through. However, I think change is necessary to make sure that everything we're doing is meeting the current identified needs. needs of students who are trying to prepare and master or develop and master certain skill sets so that when they leave a K through 12 district, they're prepared.
Change will also take place in the math portion of the test.
How are students doing with problem solving and using data to, one, analyze the data and then make a decision based on that data and their analysis? And so it's shifting really to, this is what college and career looks like. So we should be building our assessment to see how well will students do when they get to college and how well prepared will they be when they leave high school and then college as they enter careers.
Over the next 2 years, Smith says he and school administrators will monitor the new changes and make sure East Long Meadow students are ready.
It will be incumbent upon our district and all districts to look at, okay, how are they really starting to implement these proposed changes right now, and then look at some of the courses we have in place and how do we then revise those courses to make sure students are getting the best preparation possible to take that assessment.
A local student is making headlines tonight for her culinary capabilities.
8-year-old Julia Boucher is a finalist in the National Jif Peanut Butter Contest.
Her older sister Maria, also an ELCAT reporter, knows a thing or two about what her sister is going through. When she was 11, Maria made it into the top 5 of that same contest.
Maria has this story on her sister Julia and the latest on Jif's most creative sandwich competition.
Thanks, Az. Jif's Most Creative Peanut Butter Sandwich Contest is the national competition for kids aged 6 to 12. I had a great time participating in this contest when I was younger, and now my sister Julia gets the same opportunity. This past weekend, Julia provided a demo here in our home kitchen and told me about her love for cooking. I started by asking her how she makes her panini French toast roll-up.
First, you roll out one piece of bread, and then you put some peanut butter on the bread. And then you put apricot preserves on it. And you put 3 apples on the bottom. And then you roll up very tightly. Then you make the egg mixture. 1 egg and some milk. You put the panini French toast roll inside of a frying pan. And then you put it in cinnamon. This is my panini French toast roll up when it is done. Now I'm going to taste a bite of it. Delicioso.
As one of the top 5 finalists, Julia's next step is to visit New York City for the finals. We will be sure to update you next week on the results of the competition. This has been Maria Boucher reporting for ELCAT News.
In sports news, the rec basketball championships are history.
The boys and girls faced off last weekend and ELCAT Sports was there.
To kick off the night at the high school last Friday for the championship series, the 5th and 6th grade boys took the court. It was the Bucks in green versus the Heat in red, a really tough, hard-fought back and forth, really a one-possession game until the end. With 3 seconds to go, Colin Casey for ELCAT Sports made the call.
They inbounded, and the Heat are going to win the championship. A 1-point victory, and they hang on to win the game, and they have won boys 5th and 6th grade recreational basketball for East Long Meadow. And a hard-fought game for both teams. The Bucks just come up short, but the Heat are champions. Championship game.
On to the next matchup of the night at the high school, the 7th and 8th grade boys championship. Another unbelievably close game as the purple team took on the red team. At first, a low-scoring game, with the first half ending with a 1-point spread, 8-7 red. East Long Meadow Spartan cheerleaders entertained the packed house at the half. Second half action heated up, and with 8 seconds to go, the score tied up at 25 apiece. Once again, here's ELCAT Sports' Colin Casey with the call.
8 seconds to go. Purple inbounding on their own end. Tied at 25. Ryan Lavelle inbounds. Back to Lavelle. 5 seconds to go. He drives down the floor. He drives. Cuts through. Misses the layup. Goes back up. It's good. It is good. The purple team has won at the buzzer. I don't believe it. What a finish. The purple team are champions as they stun the red team. Wow.
Next up, high school boys championship action with the light blue team going up against the pink team. It was a close game all the way through the first half with a back and forth for the lead. At the half, pink ahead by just 2 with a score of 27-25. But the blue team came back with a vengeance in the second, took the lead and didn't look back. In what was a surprise to many in attendance, the big team had a tough time hitting the boards in the second. Blue wins with a final of 73-58. Tom Cronin and Colin Casey have the call.
And your 2014 in-town basketball champions are the light blue team. They win it 73-58. And they will be receiving the first ever in-town East Long Meadow Recreation Department trophy.
And finally, the last matchup, the girls' high school championship game. It was black against red, and red came out firing and just didn't quit. At the half, red had what seemed like an insurmountable lead, up by 18 with a score of 28-10. In second half action, Kylie Casey was on fire for red. Black fired back as Natalia Masidi took the crown as rebound queen. But red was just too much for black to handle. In the end, the final, 49-24. Tom Cronin, Kevin Cohn, and Danny Miller had the call for ELCAT Sports.
And the red team wins the championship here in 2014 by a score of 49-24. Guys, your final thoughts?
Total domination. Yeah, this was expected, I think, from the second they stepped on the floor. They have just too many athletes over there on the red team. Just based off of athleticism, you knew they were going to win the game. Those girls are competitive, the varsity soccer players. They were not going to take no for an answer in this one.
Congratulations go out to 5 Spartan football players. 5 members of the 2013 squad are being honored as part of the All-Western Mass team at the Scholar Athlete Awards Dinner of the Western Mass National Football Foundation. The 52nd annual banquet takes place April 6th at UMass Amherst. The 5 honorees are seniors Devin Kennedy, Ryan Taft, Brendan Logan, John Bortolucci, and sophomore Mike Medjapinto. Congratulations to all 5 Spartans on a job well done. That'll do it for us tonight. Thanks for watching ELCAT News Week in Review. I'm Yasmin Najibi. And I'm Alexi Cohan. Good night.